I have a hard time saying aloud what's obvious. Mostly with the risk involved, making a sound in outer space. The information repeats. The sound repeats, the sentences repeat, the language and mathematics repeat. There's 1,000 books in the library on each floor. There's 1,000,000 books on every floor. There's 2 trillion books in the library. Professors know expertly. Doctors and surgeons have learned intelligently. Humans visit this library, they do their work, and repeat. Psychology was learned in these conditions. A human sat in a library such as the Suzzallo and Allen Library at the University of Washington, probably in a much more comfortable example, though. Undoubtedly. And these humans, they kept track of their psychology and started practicing psychiatry from what they observed others humans doing in silence, with no problems, no difficulties, no struggle, with all they need provided. With the requirement to use body and brain and energy to learn and solve problems. Carl Jung used to draw. Sigmund Freud, he'd have his cigar. You can see in pictures with him, his cigar. Huskies at the University of Washington. They have sororities, they have fraternities. They have places to eat and shop, and they do much of what Freud and Jung did with what they're doing. Humans at the University of Washington, Huskies, with their time. However, Freud and Jung and Piaget and Kandel and Banderas and Jordan Peterson, with the exception of Mr. Peterson, who has had technology, and who knows, maybe other psychologists. Humans now have a computer and a laptop. Humans have used. to learn about brain and body, leaving little to almost no mystery. And unfortunately, in so many words, explaining to humans they're not very smart and intelligent, brilliant and genius. But these are also not definite decisions and declarations about what's noticeable and obvious and what anybody can see with their own eyes and hear with the ears and feel with their body. Dominance and $1.5 trillion have nothing to do with what those people are saying they are as a human who knows more than everyone else and has achieved what other humans can't accomplish on Earth, in outer space. Using what humans have used, a game, theory, with philosophy and mathematics and economics, to build a civilization these humans I'm describing appreciate with freedom. And what all of this information and this sound and all of these words and this language has to do with, with a possible final chapter. For humans to read about in books and humans to learn about on quantum devices. A final chapter involving a psychology now proved to be not only inadequate, but gosh darn disgusting and dangerous. Having a human stare at light all day, changing the light, making the light different, doing their calculations with their mathematics and using their numbers and letters and making their complexity so intellectual, they dominate their competition. Driving home in their Tesla, ordering their dinner on their device, using their technology to sleep properly with their body a little bit overweight and a little bit disgusting also. And then using their accomplishments involving money and dollars to have a reward on their yacht for helping civilization and humans with their difficulties and goals on an object they call a planet, Earth. A human wakes up. The human I'm talking about wakes up, and they repeat and repeat and repeat. And what's distressing in this talking about humans and other people who aren't pausing or stopping to make changes to a civilization they have decided to be a part of. In the world. What humans are doing now disregards all of the lives lost, going back probably before World War I, and explains that what they did on Earth had such little significance their children now have to do what they did back then with what humans can't solve now. In other words, humans are saying they're intelligent and they're brilliant and they're genius, and they've made a computer with light curing cancer, making death in war less tragic with carpet bombing, and causing what's being described as eliminated in a civilization.